Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Energetic Business Pulse podcast. My name is Dana Kovacic. I'm your host, and I'm here to help you build a thriving business around a life you love, not the other way around. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, that you're stuck on a hamster wheel, constantly moving but never moving forward? Or perhaps like your business is draining you instead of fueling your dreams. I've been there, and let me tell you, it doesn't have to be this way. Every Tuesday, I'll bring you inspiration, insights, and actionable strategies to help you align with the pulse of your business so that you can step into your power as a leader, build bold as fuck confidence, and create a life that gets you banked and balanced. Get ready, because the podcast starts now. Hello, everyone. This is Dana Kovacic, your host of the Energetic Business Pulse. Welcome to another episode. Today, we are so honored to have the one and only Claudia here with us. Now, Claudia is an international retreat facilitator. She has sold out events. She's been 6 figures in literally 9 months in her business. How fucking amazing is that? She's coached 400 plus people, and just recently she has co-hosted and co-facilitated with a multi-7-figure coach on such short notice. So I brought Claudia in today because she has all the courage coach. She's so empowering, and I know that we'll drop so many gold nuggets in today's episode. So welcome, Claudia.
Hey, babe. Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, me too. I'd love for you to share. Who are you for our audience, and what has brought you here to your career? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my God. Amazing question. It's so funny you mentioned that, because yesterday I did a reel around how my business accidentally started. Anyways, for those that don't know me, my name is Claudia Compton, like the place in America. And thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you, beautiful Dana, for having me. I'm so excited and so honored. And yeah, so I'm a manifestation and mindset coach. I love to work on the human and also the soul. So my ethos and my overall vision and value for what I bring to this earth in regards to mission and business is to master your human and activate your soul's journey. Because I believe that we can only evolve so much in our soul evolution as much as we actually master our human. So that's what I really love to work with clients with. I love to holistically work with mind, body, soul, and somatic work. So that is what I currently do. And I've had multiple certifications in like hypnosis, NLP, light language, psychic development, psychic mediumship, all these beautiful tools. And how I started my journey, I actually invested into a retreat in 2019. I met this random guy at a yoga studio, and he was like, "Do you want to come to my retreat?" And I'm like, "Sure." I didn't even know him. And I said yes. And that's where all of the work really started to open up. Like, we did ice baths, and it was the first time I learned about like worthiness and all of it. And I was like, holy shit, there's a whole nother world out here. I grew up as a gymnast, so I feel like I had a pretty great solid mindset in regards to determination. So I liked, Les Brown and all those like motivational speakers, but I never thought I could either have the life that they were talking about, or I felt like I could actually achieve what they were doing, like talking on stages and things like that. So I hired my first mentor. I got a loan out because I needed this fucking help. And yeah, pretty much a few years on, I randomly started my business. I had people messaging me being like, "How have you changed your life?" I was a typical party girl, like did all the drugs and abusing body, overworking, binge eating, all of that kind of stuff in the past. So I really needed some support, and I just showcased my journey because I was in network marketing at the time, and I was like throwing shit at a wall with social media. So once I transformed my whole life, I did a certification, and people actually just started asking me, "How did you do this? How did you go from, drinking and publicly showing how like smashed you were?" Like, I was that party girl, right? Like, this was years ago. I was really in that party scene. And people seeing me from where I was in the partying to where I was then which was completely opposite, holistic. I turned vegan, and they were like, how the fuck did you change your life? And that's literally how my business started. And it's like, when you're on your soul's path, babe, it just blows the fuck up.
That is so incredible. There's so much here. So you've accidentally started your business from making the decision to go to a yoga retreat, which you had no idea what it was, who was even there. You just like had that kind of feeling of my soul needs this. And I'd love for you to talk about that decision because I know there's listeners listening and they're like, how do you make the right decision or how do you make a decision that changes your life? So can you share a little bit about what was going on for you right then and there?
Awesome, babe. Yeah, I know I did. I skimmed over a lot really quickly because like I could talk about my
So
journey.
much.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Which is all perfect and fine. And in regards to the decision around saying yes to the yoga retreat, I've always wanted to do something like that. So I was like, oh, that would be cool. Like I wanted to travel. I felt pretty connected to this man, even though I didn't really know him. And at that time, I just knew things needed to change without consciously knowing things needed to change. I was like, Claudia, you're doing drugs 5 days a week. You're not sleeping, you're not eating, like you're not good. But yoga was my outlet at the time. So I was like, well, maybe I could just do some yoga when I'm there. So I think with the whole right decision comment as well, it's like there are no wrong decisions, right? And in that moment, I didn't think, is this the right decision? I just felt like I know this is. Like, I didn't think, is this the right thing? I just knew, like, it just made sense to me. So I just allowed myself to follow those whispers and follow the breadcrumbs, is what I like to say, because the universe is guiding you. Little did I know, current Claudia right now was breadcrumbing past Claudia in 2019, being like, come on, babes, you got some things to do.
Yes.
So I would say to the people that are on the fence around whether they are unsure of the right decision or the wrong decision, I want you to look at like, how do you see your life panning out and what are the intentions that you have for your life? And if that makes like logical sense and feels energetically connected to you, doesn't mean it always has to feel energetically aligned. That's another conversation. But I feel like as long as it makes sense and it's something that you're interested in and you know that you can have massive growth with, regardless of the right or wrong thing, I just knew it was the thing for me at the time.
Thank you so much for sharing that because Claudia now like would have no fucking idea what life could look like. Is that true?
No, well, I've always wanted to work online. Like, I'm the eldest daughter, so I'm very much like, I don't want to be told what to do. I don't.
Daughter syndrome.
Pardon?
Oldest daughter syndrome. I'm the same.
Oh, yes, it's like any kind of authority, we're like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Rebel complex is another level over here. Even though like I do respect the rules, etc., but like any kind of like societal norms, I just had this kind of like ick around. I did go to uni for 2.5 years, and
Wow.
yeah, I did radiation therapy there, which is cancer treatment. I always wanted to be a nurse, but I didn't have the stomach for it because I'm like, oh, makes me feel a bit queasy. So I settled for something like that. I actually wanted to go to the army, which is another conversation. But yeah, I wanted to do X-rays.
Oh, so you wanted to be in the army and be a nurse, and then life changed when you went to a yoga retreat.
Literally. Well, it changed a little bit more than that. It probably changed when I started seeing influencers and stuff go on brand trips and how they were being paid to travel. And I was like, how the fuck do I have to work 48 48 weeks a year, only get 4 weeks off? Why do they have that and I can't? So that's where it started to really shift. Like, I think I wanted those jobs and those careers because like that's what I thought I wanted, but I actually didn't want it. I always wanted to help people. That was my main thing. I always wanted to be of service and to support people. But I just knew that if other people could work online and they could travel and live their life, why the fuck will I settle for anything less? Because that's what I desire. So that's what I have now.
Thank
Literally.
you for sharing that. Isn't it incredible how you've used that as inspiration versus comparison? Has there ever been any comparison, or were you more inspired by the way they lived their lives?
I feel like in the early stages, I was definitely more comparative of like, oh, how did they have that? Why can't I? But it was more of just I would say more inspiration, even though I didn't see it as inspiration. Like I would see people on Instagram, I'm like, oh, lucky them. That whole comment, like, oh, lucky them, they did it, I can't do it. But I still felt like this energy of undercurrent inspiration when I would see their posts. I'm like, wow, if they can do that, they're my age, or maybe they're older. By the time I'm X years old, I could have that as well. So that's how much it pretty much started.
So inspiring. You followed the breadcrumbs, you followed your intuition, and as you went through that journey, like you went to the yoga retreat, you had then people reaching out to you. What a transformation. I want to acknowledge you as well for being in the party scene, and I've been there as well to different extents. And for me personally, it was about escaping reality. I'm not sure about you, but it's about escaping, and we call it fun at the time. Like, let's go and have some fun. And it's fucking hard to get out of that.
Yeah, especially when your whole identities are based around it. Like
Yes.
I said no to that. I pretty much said no to all of my social group. So
Mm.
what helped me was I actually left the state. I moved into state because I was like, I need to get out of this environment. I need a clean slate. And I'm so passionate about people starting fresh. I believe that you don't need to change states or change a name or whatever you need. Like you can literally change your environment just by you being your evolved self. Like you don't need a different thing outside of you. But I do really believe in fresh starts. And that's actually how I got out of it, most of it, because I was like, I'm fucked. And I used challenges to help me as well. So like I went 30 days sober and I ate really clean. And I seen it as a challenge to believe in myself more and to feel more self-trust. So that's how it actually really started. I was like, fuck, why does alcohol has such a vice on me?
Mm.
Like I actually started getting really curious, like, why is there such a vice here? Like, what in my life that I've done has made me want to drink every day? Like, what has happened? What trauma is there? How can I address it? I've always been a very curious kid. You know, that kid at school that's like, why? Why? I was that kid,
Which
literally.
takes a lot of level of awareness when you're in it, though. Like when you're in it and you're drinking and you're taking the drugs, like that takes a lot of level of awareness to be the observer of your own thoughts as opposed to being automatically triggered and just going with the flow. So that takes a lot of inner courage and strength.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I've always been like that. I feel like I've always been very open to see like what gaps there are.
Which makes you a good coach.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so great how it all happens. Hey, it's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense as to why I was like that. Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense.
And tell me a little bit about, like, you just mentioned before a comment of people are so lucky to live their lives. Do you have that with people looking at your life now? Like, you're so lucky to have all of this with no idea what goes on in the background?
As in people say it to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like I have had a few, but I'm like, there's no difference between me and you. Like genuinely, I believe that. So if people ever come to me and say, oh, you're so lucky because you've got this, or oh my God, yeah, it's easy for you to say X. And it's like, yeah, but I wasn't born with this.
Mm.
So I think it's a really different conversation to have. And usually it humbles the person really quickly. But I can empathize with that because I was the same. I'm like, oh yeah, it's easy for you to say I have to work, 70 fucking hours and blah blah blah. But actually, like when you strip it back, there's opportunities everywhere. It just the opportunities only go to those that are open and ready to go after the opportunity.
And how do you be that person? Like for those listening right now, and there's no judgment in here, but let's say there's listeners here saying, "Oh, well, I'm in that position. I'm comparing myself. What can I do? Like, what do you feel are the steps to shift the mindset? Can you give us like a three simple steps?"
Yeah, I can. I can. And I'm going to be a little bit of a paradox queen right now. And I'm
Love.
going to say, regardless of the steps that you take, you have to want it enough for yourself to actually start by taking the steps.
Yes.
And I know that is like so like sort of like cunty, like Claudia, don't say that to me. Like I'm in this situation, and like, don't worry, babes, I've been there as well, like, absolutely. But there is a real different texture to these kinds of conversations when people are so ferociously ready for change and
Yeah.
like sick of their experience, because there was multiple times where I tried to stop drinking, but I wasn't done with my shit, right? So if you're on the fence right now and you're like, oh, I'm fucking ready for this change, the three things I would say is ensure that you have the right environment around you for that change. The environment is everything. And whether you need to pack up your stuff, move overseas, or change your suburb or whatever, like do something to change your environment. I would say invest into something that's going to expand your awareness, because there's no fucking way that I thought this was possible unless I invested in myself. Like I remember I met my first mentor in a cafe, and she was radiating all this loving energy. And I was like, oh my fucking God, like how did she get like that? Like I was so curious as to how someone could see the life in such a positive light, because I was so negative. But that's how my journey started. Now I'm investing into multimillionaires because that's where I'm going. But it's not how I started.
How did you start? You mentioned before that you got a loan for your first mentor, so you didn't have the money and you still were so brave to say yes. And I know there's a lot of people that sit on the fence to work with people and they use money as an excuse. Can you touch on that? What was your thoughts behind that?
So I was like backed up against the wall. I'm like, there is no way out. I remember this one day I was like high on drugs. It was like 5 a.m. I didn't sleep for 3 days. And I was like, there's no way out but through.
Mm.
And it was a clear download. It was a clear idea. And I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this, because I was partying with people that were 30 plus years old, and I love them. I appreciate them for their journey. But like, I was 23, 24. I'm like, I don't want this. Like, I know there's so much more, because I'm seeing other people do that on social media. Right. So I was like, fuck, I need to change this. And I was over my excuses. I was like, is there a way I can get money out? Like, how the fuck can I do this? Because I would excuse money. Oh, money this, money that. And you know what? To a degree, I can empathize, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And there's a level where you're just like, fuck it, I'm sending it. So I got a loan out for, I think it was like 5 grand or something like that. So just a
Which is
little personal loan.
it's really scary though. Like 5 grand is a lot when you don't have 5 grand.
Yeah, but I was like, I seen it in a way, like I tricked myself. I was like, well, this is going to be good when I go on a home loan, or, like it's good to have as a history kind of thing. You know what
Beautiful.
I mean? So, because there was part of me that was like, oh my God, like this is scary. And I was like, you're okay, babe. It's fine. You're going to be fine. Like money will come,
Yes.
but money will not come if you're not good like this and you're blowing $300 in a bag. Okay. So you can do this, girl. Trust yourself. So it was a really interesting relation. I remember walking into the bank, and I remember saying, I was not spiritual at the time at all, but I remember looking up before I walked into the bank, and I was like, if I get approved, I'm going to hire this coach. And I walked in, and she was like, yep, I can do it right now for you. And I was like, holy shit. So I do believe that there's divine interference
Yes.
always. So as soon as I got approved, I was like, all right, there's no going back now. And it's just been on and up since.
Well done for going with your instinct, going with the flow, making the big moves because to get big results in life, to get big rewards, there's a lot of risk involved, and the risk is our internal risk, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like, once you see that other people are living the way that you want to, it actually, for me at least, really alleviated any of the risk.
Mm.
So what I did was I seen it as like a scale. I seen it as like a bad risk and like a great outcome.
Yes.
So all I knew was I just got to fuel my good outcomes with other people that have done what I want to do to drown out the risks. So it's like, if you're at the moment like in a fork in the road and you're unsure what way to go, which way do you actually want to go? And then just create more proof by surrounding yourself with people, investing, showing up for yourself, learning more about you. And seeing success stories was a really big thing for me, because I was like, well, even though I don't know them, like I might know them one day. You know what I mean? So I think that's why socials is so powerful, and like being in great supportive environments and having mentors to expand your awareness of what's possible.
Thank you so much. You've literally given so many gold nuggets, and I'd love to ask, because I know I appreciate your time. I'd love to ask, what has been the number one challenge in your business, and how have you overcome that?
Oh, the first thing that came to my mind was self-trust, trusting
Mm.
myself, like trusting myself in using my investments well, in showing up the way that I said I was going to, trusting myself with, booking out venues and hiring mentors and traveling overseas. Like I'd say self-trust would be the biggest thing and the most beautifulest thing you can actually cultivate within you. And my journey with self-trust has really come back to how I show up for myself when no one's watching and building those habits over time. And the biggest thing is like you can go through a whole year and have quote unquote no results, or you can go through a whole year and have the most life-changing experience. And I feel like for me, the first year in my business, I was going through a breakup. I was homeless. I had $1,000 to my name. I was just starting my business. I had no car, nothing. And I was like, oh, well, the only way on is up. I cannot get any lower,
Wow.
quite
So
frankly.
you've been through the whole journey, like you've said yes, and then you've had that experience, which has now you've decided to help that shape you as the woman you are today, as opposed to break you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's like, I just have this like knowing in my body. I'm like, how can other people do it? And of course I can too. I don't know. It's just like this thing. And I would say if you can resonate with any of my story or any of the things that we've spoken about, like look at it in the way that's going to make sense for you. So for me, I listened to podcasts, I read the books, but things weren't landing because I wasn't actually digesting it in a way that made sense for me. So how I work is by creating challenges or plans or tests or projects or experiments because it makes me feel like I'm going to enjoy the journey. And when shit hits a fan, it can make you feel like I'm not enjoying the journey,
Cool.
right? So in 2023, I made it my mission to ensure that I was going to have my experiment year. So I had my experiment year, and that's where it really showed my whole business blew up because I started to trust myself. So that's what I would say moving forward is how can you digest the knowledge that you're currently learning into a way that's going to make sense for you and make it a game, make it fun, make it a challenge, make it something that you get excited about because the more excited you are about something, the more you actually want to stick to it because you can do the best fucking morning routine in the world, but if you're not excited, you're not going to stick to it. So I was excited for change. So I stuck to the things that would give me that.
I love that, because so many people can feel so stagnant in their business, and business can be fun. So I love that you've mentioned doing the challenges and making it fun, having those milestones. And I'm curious to know, for those that are listening that want to build their trust, that love your vibe, which yeah, I'm sure every single person is, like, you're so incredible. What do you have on offer at the moment? How do you specifically help people?
So I love to help them through and guide them through their own self-leadership journey because I believe that life responds not of what we do, but who we be and who we are. So if you're wanting more growth in your business or you're wanting a better relationship or better health or finances, whatever that is, I truly believe to my heart of hearts, it always comes back to self-leadership, which is cultivated through a few different things, self-trust, self-belief, and also discipline, like devotion, showing up for yourself every day. And when you can really cultivate that self-leadership, rain, hail, shine, baby, you're going to be showing the fuck up and you're going to be absolutely pioneering the pathway that you want for your highest timeline. So that's what I currently help clients with in regards to business. I also do personal development and personal transformation work. I currently have a 6-month group that has just opened yesterday, which is exciting.
Congratulations!
I'm really excited. Like I connected in with this beautiful energy, self-led society, and it's going to be such an incredible experience because I believe the way that we actually will evolve humanity and evolve our experience and evolved life like beyond our generations is by creating a self-led society when we can all become our self-led selves, so we can raise vibration, have more fun, more play, and live the life that we're meant to. So self-leadership is the thing that I really cultivate and help clients recognize within themselves.
That sounds fucking amazing. So, for those of you who are listening that want to pioneer their own path in life and in business, if you all want to elevate your self leadership skills to live a more abundant life, to have more love and connection, to feel truly fulfilled in your life and where it is that you are going, please look at my latest blog. I'll have Claudia's information there where you can contact her directly. And Claudia, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. It is such an honor to be connected with you and have this space. And it has just been so valuable hearing your journey, where you're from, what you've been through, where you are now, and where you're going. So I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and just like the main thing that is ringing in my ears to really speak into is like, if she can, I can. That's literally all I told myself. If she can, I can. And I would program the fuck out of myself. I'm like, if she can, I can. If she can, I can. If she can, I can. And I just put that rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So now allow that to open up a pathway of permission for you to step into your greatness and become the self-led human that you know you're here to be, to live the life of your dreams. So thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so beautiful to be on here.
You're so welcome. If she can, I can. Let's do it.
Literally.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Energetic Business Pulse podcast. To catch this podcast in blog form and to connect with Claudia, we'll have all her details on www.danakovacic.com. Go to the latest blog on our website. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you for our next episode of the Energetic Business Pulse.